a lot of things can begin to come up. Of course, even the blood pressure can begin to increase. This is a poor, you can refer to a poor balance in the vascular system. So when this vascular system is not proper or thorough or balanced, such situation can equally be referred to as a stagnated body system, and it will be building pressure. Another area of balance is the balance in the production and circulation of energy. Balance in the production and circulation of energy. Of course, there must be a balance. For example, somebody who cannot break down glucose, he cannot provide energy. He might even be weak and be heavy in the morning. He will not be able to do a lot of things. And then such body is not balanced, because you wake up with headache, heaviness in the body is also a sign that that body is not balanced. So all these balances are part of the atmosphere that needed to be created for the healing potentials to work optimally. You see, when it becomes something that has to be enforced through drugs, and nobody consider the natural way of creating, a balanced energy circulation, then it becomes a big problem. It becomes a big problem. You are all aware that Chinese doesn't play with energy circulation and balance, and that is the secret behind Chinese medicine. Now, the third one is the production of nutrients and the circulation of nutrients in our body. Balance in nutrients production and circulation. When the production of nutrients is not balanced, or it's not even not being done as a result of poor metabolism, of course, what else do you want the system to distribute or circulate? And then if it's produced and the vascular system is not balanced, it cannot be moved from one location to the other. As it moves with oxygen to nourish tissues in different parts of the body when the vascular system. So all these balances, they are interwoven, and they are very much interconnected with each other, one another, to harmonize, the healing process in the body, and to enable, to create an atmosphere for the healing potential to perform optimally. So nutrition, production, and circulation is key as an atmosphere that must be in existence to nourish the healing potentials so that they will be able to perform optimally. You all agree with me. Some people, when they're having wound and the wound refuses to heal on time, of course, not only that they will give you the antibiotics, vitamin C will also be given in order to increase the potency of the immune cells, and then the immune cells will be able to do the fighting better. Yeah, also there's another one which has to do with the effective detoxification process, which is the role of the kidney and the liver. Effective detoxification process. When this is not balanced, or it's not thorough, or it's not effective, of course it's going to affect the whole system. All this grammar we have been talking about will not be able to perform effectively, because a lot of toxins and poisons will be moving around the body, affecting the brain functions, affecting the tissue functions, affecting the kidney and the liver functions, affecting every other organs that are working harmoniously to keep our body in good condition. Of course, there will be a good immune cells. Immune functions will not be thorough and it will not be effective. Of course, it can even reduce the load and even make them to develop an autoimmune reaction, and your immune system will begin to fight the tissues, and it can lead to series of complications of rheumatoid, a series of other problems, stomach ache, coma, losing consciousness, and what have you. That effective immune system also is needed. Just like we are talking about the healing potentials, and we mentioned the immune cells as part of the healing potentials, so also the immune system must be effective and thorough, up to the task, and having enough to be able to carry out, the great assignment of defense. Now, considering all this, we can see that balance, of course, is the key to life. Balance is the key. The above balances can be achieved or enforced in three different ways. It can be achieved or enforced in three different ways. So, most importantly, when one is sick and you go to the hospital, you have BP, you have pain, you have hypertension. Of course, they're going to make prescription of drugs, and that's the first approach, and we call this an orthodox approach. Some people call it artificial approach. Orthodox approach is save life and rescue because it's key and it's important. And so also we have the second one that is the use of natural supplements approach. This also is the use of herbal or natural organic supplement. And of course, it helps in the restoration of our natural endowment. The third one is the complementary approach. As the name has rightly sound, complementary approach. It involves two approaches, which is number one and the number two. The use of the drugs and also the use of the natural supplement. So when you combine the two together, it's what we call complementary approach. Of course, there are different cases and there are different stages of disorder that requires complementary. Of course, if you go to the hospital and then you are placed on a particular drug, once you recover maybe for infections or whatever, the doctor will tell you after you might have taken a series of medications, after you finish all of them, they will go and take your vegetables and fruits. They are asking you to supply the nourishment required to enable those healing potentials to be activated, so that subsequent infection, if you contact it through the same means, the body will be able to do the fighting. So without which there can be reoccurrence. The best approach shall be the decision of your physician, because there are cases that require an urgent rescue, and series of diagnoses, and then at times complementary may not be needed. You may have to be placed on the drug to achieve a particular stage, and then they will ask you to proceed with whatever that is needful that will help the healing potential to function optimally. Ladies and gentlemen in the house, in view of the fact that the body enjoys balances under natural and organic supplements, and also at times drugs, they are needful to secure and rescue severe system breakdown. It is better to desire to adopt the complementary approach, and as such you must carry your physician along to enable you to harmonize the activities of the healing potentials to their optimum performance and prompt response to rescue from every invasion in our body system. Why do we need to restore the healing potentials? I've told us, many of us don't know. The topic says restoring the healing potentials. Somebody will say, my body will take care of itself. Of course, that is what we should believe. The body takes care of itself. Do you know the same body also needs some input? And that's what we are talking tonight. It needs input. It also needs an atmosphere. When the input and the atmosphere is not favorable, I can assure you, the healing potential will not perform optimally. And as such, sicknesses, diseases, they are inevitable. Breakdown, system breakdown, organ breakdown, they are inevitable. And so, we need to discuss tonight, why do we need to restore the healing potentials? Number one, because of the aging factor. Because it's inevitable. We cannot resist it. Every day of our life we are adding more. And as we age, the immune system will be getting weaker. And then their work will be getting slower. And the reason why we need to restore them is because of the aging factor. It's because of the age-related diseases that are connected to this low and weak immune system. You all agree with me. Age-related diseases are so severe and complex. In fact, there is an adage in my own language that says, aging is a fearful season. Aging is a fearful season. It says, Agbasoroda. It means that it becomes so fearful because you know what happened to your father, you know what happens to his own father, you heard about your father's father, and the reoccurrence of all these health challenges you will be afraid as soon as you are getting older. But the good news tonight is that the knowledge to prevent has come to stay. And because even the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So aging is associated with age-related diseases due to low immune system. And we are talking about healing potentials. And immune system is also part of it. They are the primary factors. And that is the reason why taking this topic of tonight so seriously by anyone that is fast aging is key to enable you to be ahead of any complications that is inevitable in the presence of improper health management. The second topic is high rate of pollution from industrial or from agricultural chemicals. Now, the use of preservative is now so rampant, and chemicals for weed, chemicals for insect, chemicals for preservation, they are too heavy. At times, all these put together in our system have negative effect on the kidney and the liver. And then if we say we don't want to know this, we are just exposing ourselves. We need to come to the reality of what is obtainable. At times, the farmer needs them to arrest some insects so that they can have income on their investment. And then that is why organic fruit and vegetables seems to be a bit expensive, because the volume of the harvest may not be that much. But if we ourselves can do cultivation within our yard, we can go a long way to rescue ourselves in our good old age, because we can access. Like my father is an health professional, he has a lot of fruit in the yard, and anytime we need it, we go there, we harvest. We didn't know the importance until when we are aging now, and we are trying to cultivate it. Now, the third one is the poor hygiene. Poor hygiene at home or in the public area. When the hygiene is not in place, and we are careless in public places, and we are not careful about hygiene at home, infections is inevitable, and a lot of sicknesses, communicable diseases can be transferred from one person to the other. No matter how strong your immune system is, if you are perpetually exposed, to a public place, or you don't take care of your home, your environment, and infection is inevitable. You can easily contact infections, and then it gradually breaks down, our immune system, and the healing potentials will lose their potencies, and they will not be able to work effectively. What about accidents? Accidents is something that we don't always, pray for. We never foresee it, we never pray for it, but it do happen. Okay, when it now happen, how did your healing potential respond? How did it respond? It matters because the patient having stagnation, having blood stagnation, not having effective blood vascular system, they suffer a lot of wound not responding to treatment, and then infection begin to get aggravated, and then leading to a lot of complications such as amputation, and series of complications can set in. And then the body can develop resistance to a lot of antibiotics when they are too heavy on the body system. What about pandemics? Pandemics, nobody pray for pandemics, but they are all inevitable. They can happen. COVID-19 came. Nobody prayed for it, but it came, and it causes a lot of death. Why? Because we are not prepared. We are taking for granted what God himself has already made provision for. In Genesis 9 verse 3, and towards the end of that particular verse, he said, I now give you everything. You say he gave us plant, he gave us moving animals, he gave us green plants. When he mentioned the green plant, he now said, I now give you everything. It's so interesting. It means that everything that we need is in nature. God provided it. It is not for sale. That's why we don't value it. But when we go to the hospital, of course we value it because we have to pay. But when you plant moringa, you plant garlic, you plant ginger, you plant turmeric, you plant all these things as your vineyard, and you are making use of them, you don't really value those things because you are the one that planted them. But they are good, and they are highly good in complementary whatever treatments that we are taking from the hospital. Now, addition to drugs, with complementary approach, with herbal supplements, we can put an end, to the pandemics. As a matter of fact, pandemic is not that chronic. Only herbs can handle pandemics. It can handle it effectively. And of course, what we are just saying, and in particular tonight, is that preparing our body to improve the healing potentials, so that even if the pandemic comes, your body will be able to do the fighting. Because the world were not prepared is the reason why the whole thing go extra mile. So complementary should be an adopted way to incorporate in our daily attitude of restoring the healing potential. The last one is the immunodeficiency, which is divided into two: primary immunodeficiency and secondary immunodeficiency. The primary one means it is inherited. You were born with it, and as such, you lack some basic immunity. For example, some people, when they are exposed to dust or exposed, they easily have catarrh. Some people don't. And some sicknesses like that, we inherit them from our parents, and it's happening to us. That means you are deficient of that in that area of immunity. And failure to come to that reality and begin to take the supplement that will boost your resistance to such, it will expose you to a lot of complications. It will expose one to a lot of what? Complications that may lead to operation and series of complications, if preventive measures with the use of supplement is not adopted.